Hey gang, it's me, Sheepless Needles, vegan podcast. Not about being vegan, where we do all sorts of fun stuff, where we talk about bunnies, we talk about knitting, we talk about life, we talk about beer, we talk about just stuff, guys. Pull up a chair, grab a Proyac, let's get going. How you been the last 2 weeks? Sorry, I'm having trouble getting comfortable today. Oh, first world problems I'm having right now. Okay, so yeah, it's been 2 weeks and I don't have a lot to report. I have no thumb report. Stay tuned. I still haven't gotten in with a specialist. However, I was knitting the other night, and I know what all of you are going to say, Shannon, you need to take it easy on the thumb. Whatever. So it popped really loudly. And I know it's still swollen. Obviously, it's this thumb. And I know it's still bigger, but my mobility is better than it was. I do think it's dislocated. I think I relocated part of it. So gross, you guys. So anyway, there's the thumb update. Yeah, not great. Not great news there. Where did one ear go? Where? It's like the disappearing bunny day today. Oh, so let's get this started, guys. I got my glass. This glass is really special to me because this is the beer glass my dad drank all of his beer out of when he lived in Ohio. I don't know where the glass is from. I don't think it's like valuable. It's sentimentally valuable. And I probably need to get over that because, glassware can break and I don't want my heart to break if the glass breaks. Before I get in here, we are drinking. This is Warp Wing Hop Chill. This is a cold India Pale Ale. Now, guys, I don't have a clue what that means. So let's get the specs. Let's do a little ratting on the can here. Okay, so does it tell me anything? It says relax, unwind, and kick back with a cold one. It's time to chillax. Meet our glacially cool India Pale Ale, Hop Chill Cold IPA, brewed with, okay, you already know I'm going to butcher all of this, so just get ready. Brewed with Solero and Magnum hops for a maximal juicy tropical citrus flavors. Fermented cold for easy drinking with an icy crisp, refreshing finish. What's cooler than being cool? Hop Chill. Well played, Warp Wing. So I guess my question is, I guess I didn't realize that IPAs were fermented any other way than cold fermentation. But I guess I don't know a lot about beer, you guys. I really don't. So I know I like to drink. I know I like to drink it. Now, I don't want to talk about the temperature outside because it's really not IPA weather, but it is earlier in the day and I'm not ready for a 16% beer, which is what is actually in the fridge waiting for me. This is a low ABV. It's 6.5. That's great Sunday afternoon, whatever activity you're doing to just chill out with it. So let's give it a taste. Interesting. It is not bitey. Like, okay, I like IPAs. They're not my favorite. I like them. I am very accustomed to Warp Wing making very hop forward IPAs that are like bitter and get you from like it hits your tongue and the party's on. Like this is not that. It's still, it has the flavor, it has the citrusy back end of the IPA that I'm used to from Warp Wing, but it doesn't have the initial like it's almost like a fight in your mouth and it doesn't have that. So yeah, it's good. It's just not what I expected. So check them out if you're in the Dayton area. Hit up Warp Wing, get yourself a beer. They have all sorts of different beers. Sorry, I just clapped in the mic. Sorry, Mr. Editor. The other thing we need to talk about is my lipstick really quickly before we get into the knitting. You come here and you never know what you're going to get. So today you're getting lipstick talk. You guys, okay, so for my birthday, my mom sent me a Sephora gift card, which I greatly appreciate because, I don't really like if I have spare money, it's going to knitting usually. But there was a lipstick. I was like, what is something that I would never buy for myself in a million years from Sephora? And I came up with it. This is the Hourglass True Red vegan lipstick. It's the first, and I don't really understand a lot about it, but this created quite a brouhaha. There it is. It's not color stay or anything, so it's coming off on my glass, but we'll see how it wears because I'm telling you what, I would never, ever in a million years spend this much money on a lipstick. But I wanted to take one for the vegan team to tell you how I like it. Here's what I will tell you. The application, very smooth, very buttery. It's not bleeding. I have a very light lip liner on. So far, I'm not going to say it's worth the money because I don't think any lipstick is worth the amount of money that this is hitting you up for, but it's better than all of my other lipsticks that are not color stay. I don't generally like to wear non-color stay lipsticks because I have a habit of wiping my mouth and touching my face and all of that. So we all know like reds, we know where that's headed. I will let you know by the end of the podcast where I land on this because I've got other activities I'm going to have to do during this podcast. So while it's only going to be, under an hour for you, it might be 4 hours later and I'm not going to reapply. This is one and done. So we'll see. But first of all, I don't know if you can see this if it's going to show up, but there's the little beetle. And if you are not familiar with this beetle, if you're vegan, you are. And if you're not vegan, you may be. And you may not be. No harm, no foul. But in red dyes, whether it be, blush, lipstick, primarily lipstick, just any cosmetic that has a red hue to it, historically, and I'm probably mispronouncing this, so don't at me, but there is a beetle and the dye that they kill the beetle by crushing it and then they, I guess, distill down the crushed beetle into a dye and it's called carmine, which is Carmine. I think it's pronounced carmine. It is really difficult to find certain things without carmine in them, and red lipstick was one of them. When Kat Von D launched her makeup brand, which RIP that makeup brand, because that makeup was really, really good, regardless of how you feel about the entity of Kat Von D, that was a great cosmetic line. And I think it just is in the toilet now, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, besides Kat Von D, there really were not any vegan good reds out there. And she had like 4 or 5 that were just phenomenal. So she had like pink-based, blue-based, orange-based, neutral. So it's nice to see a company that is not a progressively vegan company like Kat Von D was. I mean, it was vegan across the board. Hourglass is attempting to be vegan across the board, and I don't know when they plan to complete that. I think it was 2022 or 23, but this was their vegan red lipstick that they came out with. Huge deal because a lot of people buy Hourglass who are not vegetarian or vegan. So getting a really good, strong product in a non-vegan line that's vegan, I think is a step in the right direction. And that's how I feel about a lot of different things. Like, I know people complain when like non-vegan companies come out with competing vegan products, whether it be like mayonnaise or chicken wings or whatever the hell it is. I think that's a good thing. I think the more you expose people to really good vegan options that they can choose from, that's a good thing. Now, being vegan for as long as I've been vegan, I really don't want to give my money to certain companies like Tyson. Like, I'm not going to they could come out with a vegan whatever. I'm probably not going to buy it because I just don't want to support that company. And that's my personal choice. But for people who are not vegan, who have been buying Tyson, their entire lives, and Tyson introduces them to a vegan whatever, and maybe it opens the floodgate. You know what I'm saying? So I think and it's important to support that when and where I can, and when I feel like I can rationalize the purchase to some degree. I don't know that I would ever rationalize buying something from Tyson, but I never say never. Come on, Romeo Void, let's go. You never know what's going to happen. So anyway, that's the lipstick story. I bet you want to hear about some knitting, don't you? Well, I am wearing, first of all, let's talk about how lazy I am, not only as a person, but as a knitter, because you guys, I still haven't knit in my ends to I almost called this shawlography, and that's not what it is. Sizzler, Smorgasbord is the shawl smorgasbord. Smorgasbord? Sporg? I don't know how that, whatever.
A fair is a veritable smorgasbord, orgasbord, after the crowds have ceased.
Stephen West, you've seen it before. If you haven't, go check out some old videos, man. I got a library there. I don't have a lot of viewership, but I got a lot of videos. Listen, I appreciate each and every person who turns on this video and watches even 30 seconds of it. If that's you, you're not even here anymore because 30 seconds passed a while ago. But if you're still here, oh my gosh, thanks. I like hanging out. I like to do the gab. I'd like to know where my bunny went. He's probably on the other side of the basement. He has a hiding spot over there that he loves, and it's like a really cold floor. It's not carpeted over there. So he sprawls out, and I'll go in there, and he's just sprawled out. What are you doing? What you got? Anyway, okay, so let's talk about some knitting. Let's go. Let's get the show on the road. I am losing my mind today. Okay, you guys, I have some progress. I do. I just need to move my beer so I don't knock anything over. Okay, so I am working on the Stephen West Dustland sweater. I, well over a year ago, committed to casting it on in early 2022, and I never did. So I did cast it on in 2023. I do have a Ravelry project page for it, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't updated it since I started it, so there's that. But you guys, when you last saw it, I was working on the collar. Look where I am. I'm still on the yoke. Stretch this out a little bit. Sorry, I got yarn everywhere. Okay, so I am on the last section of the yoke before you split for the sleeves. And I am knitting the medium. And I'm going to tell you that I think it's going to be really big on me, and I'm okay with that. I don't generally like to wear tight sweaters. If I knit a sweater and it's tight on me, I probably knit the wrong size. I generally do gravitate to looser fits, so I will be happy with that. But I don't know if you guys can pick up. Ooh, I'm blowing out. Okay, so when you're looking at it, it's hard to do this. Okay, so this is what I love about Stephen West. He gives you these patterns that you get used to the pattern, you commit it to memory, and you go and you go and you go, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm kind of bored of doing this, and then the next round it changes. So he has a really good attention to a knitter's attention, I guess is what I would say, or lack thereof. I think that when you repetitively do something over and over and over and over again, it can get really boring and stale, and then you just don't want to do it. And somehow he has figured out the formula of exactly when, and it can be a little painful, of when to switch you to a new technique. It always, like when you're in a technique, you're like, oh my God, this needs to end now. You always wish it would end now. It's usually 2 rounds later. For me. But I love that. So this is just, oh, hi, Max. There's a cat in my lap. You see her ear. This is an easy one because it's literally, as all knitting typically is, knitting and purling. There really aren't any slip stitches or anything. It's just a matter of like when you're knitting, when you're purling, you know the drill. There is a seed stitch section, and I don't know what it is about seed stitch. It takes me 90 friggin' years to do a seed stitch. The last time you saw it, I was not sure how I was going to handle the collar. Hi, Bug. Hello. Are you saying hi? You want to turn around and say hi to everybody? Or are you just going to stare at me? Yeah, you're purring. My little purring girl. Yep. Okay, so anyway, I had added the green yarn in on the right side. And as you can see through the collar, if you can see that dotted line, I really like that. It kind of, what I couldn't remember what it reminded me of. And then I think I was talking about potato sacks or something, or burlap sacks. Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas, her dress, that stitch work, that's what it reminds me of. Okay, so here's the deal. Once I started looking at the pattern, okay, okay. Once I started looking at the pattern in terms of the pattern repeat, and okay, Buglet. Oh no, hang on, I've got a cat stuck in yarn. Okay, lift that pup. Oh, criminy. Okay, so once I started looking at the repeat on this, I was like, oh, that's visually like a lot to take in. And then when I started factoring in striping in more color, I was like, I don't know that I want to do that. I think I want this to kind of just be the detail of the repeats and not the jarring like stripe repeat. So that's what I opted to do. That's why I insided it back out. So technically this is was the wrong side. It's now the right side. And what I'm going to do, tentative plan, is the cuffs and then the hem will be in the teal. And then I'll just keep the body in the olive or the fern. And again, I talked about this last week. This is Premier Anti-Pilling DK in Fern and something that I'll put in the show notes because I don't remember the name of it. But that's where we're at. I have, I think, 5 more rounds until I split for the sleeves. So I'll probably split for the sleeves tonight, is my guess. What I had really planned on showing you guys, and I'm not going to be able to show you because it didn't quite work out, was I was going to try to knock out the sleeves on my painting honeycomb sweater, which I've shown you before. Don't have it down here with me, so chill out. But I ordered, I need to say a thank you first. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you every time I'm going to say this. It doesn't matter. Thank you to the knitting group and crocheting group on Ravelry, the vegan knitting and crocheting group, because most helpful people on the planet and just the most caring people on the planet. I will plug them until, whenever. But Cheryl, you had mentioned using the Addi Flips, the Flexi Tip Addi needles. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? So I did a little research and I ordered them. I was like, I can use these on my sleeves for my sweater. So I order them. I get them. I do have them. Let me pop this open. Now, I have not used them yet, and we'll get into that, but like basically it's essentially double pointed needles that are connected, right? So you can do small circumference. I'm hoping these tips will be okay to do a sleeve on. I don't know. I'll report back, but here's the deal. I ordered them. I was like, oh yes, let me do a little practice. Dudes, I ordered a US 7, which is the sleeve size for my Dustland sweater, not for my painting honeycombs. My painting honeycombs is a US 6, and I just got them in yesterday. So I finally have the US 6. I am going to work on this in the next 2 weeks. I promise you, I will report back. Next podcast, maybe I'll even film myself trying to figure out how to use these, because no, do not turn off the film. If you're not familiar, my cat is an office assistant, and anytime she sees a keyboard, she likes to type, and she likes to hit the space bar in particular. And every time she hits the space bar, she either wipes out an Excel block that I'm working on for work, or she turns off the filming when I'm filming. So anyway, I have no idea what I was talking about other than over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to use these. I will report back. We'll do a little demo. I'll let you know what I think. Hopefully I can use them. If not, Cheryl, I'm calling you for help in case I need some tips. So there's a podcast I watch. First of all, I do want to shout out 2 podcasts before I even move forward with the other topic, because these are still knitting related. One is Knittings and Sewings, which is a wonderful woman. And now I think she's in Kansas City, if I'm remembering correctly. Shelly, you just let me know if I'm wrong, but I think you're Kansas City. You guys, when I say that she just makes me just smile, I feel like, and Shelly, do not, when I say this, this is a compliment. So don't you dare take this any other way. I feel like I'm sitting in a really small classroom with someone just sharing technique and like a teacher. But like do you remember in elementary school you had the one teacher who you just loved? Mine was Mrs. Schuster. I loved her. She made me feel safe. Yeah, that is how I feel when I watch Shelly. Like she genuinely loves all of her crafting, and it just comes across. And I just love her. And she's got a really cute dog, and I wasn't expecting it. In the last podcast, the dog was in her lap. I was like, you are one of my people, because we all have animals in our laps at all times. So anyway, that was the first podcast that I've been catching up on. And I really enjoy it. She had a really great one about how different ways to wear shawls, because I don't know about you. Listen, you already know about this about me. I knit huge blankets. And like this one, I wear like a blanket around the house. But like if I'm going out to dinner, like, Daphne, Daphne is my slipstravaganza. It's a production getting her on and getting her in place. Once she's in place, because she's so heavy, we're good to go. But getting her right. So it's just fun to watch someone else and how they style things. Really appreciate that. But she also weaves, she sews, like she does a bunch of different stuff. So and they're short form. They're not long-winded like me. You don't have to sit there and go get your point, you dumb poop, like you do with me. So, all right. So Knittings and Sewings. And the other one that I have fallen in love with is, and hopefully I have this right, the Fairy Godfather Knits, short form as well. I think he's Canadian. I know he's Canadian. I just don't know where in Canada he is. He is a author, so he's a writer, and he wrote queer horror fiction for an anthology, I think, that I have not read yet, that I'm very curious about. But it just seems to me that his relation to writing and knitting is really, really tangibly stated. Like he had a comment about, and it just really resonated with me, about how people talk about the speed of their knitting, like I'm not a fast knitter, I'm not a fast knitter. And he said, as a writer, he's like, when I hear people saying that, he's like, what defines that? Because, when you work on a story, it's years in the making. It's in your head and it's going to the paper, and it's not something you're done with in 2 weeks. They take time. And the more time you spend on them, generally the better, right? And so he related that to his knitting, and that the speed is not, getting a project done quickly doesn't necessitate the quality of the project, right? Like, I don't know. It was just, I liked it. It was a very cool intersectionality or whatever you call that, when 2 different things, whatever. I liked it. He's got a great spirit, and he's got a great sense of humor. And all of you who know me from the knitting and crochet group will completely appreciate how I was sold. Now, I do need a disclaimer. Neither of these people are vegan. So these are not vegan podcasts. I probably should have said that from the get-go, but I didn't. He had an episode that hit me in my soul in the best of ways about rage knitting, and about him literally cutting apart a project in the same way that I did with my You know what? My sweater that shall not be named by Andrea Mowry. Stupid fucking comfort fade cardigan that is still in the closet back there because I took scissors to the sleeve. It was so nice to see somebody else freely admit their rage at their knitting, at their hobby, because I feel like sometimes when I am reactive, which I'm reactive a lot because I'm a very emotional person, I guess, sometimes you have to get that out of your system. And I don't want to harm myself or anyone else. So if I need to take scissors to the sleeve of a stupid sweater, dude, there are a lot worse things I could be doing. Off topic, but back to topic, is his honesty and humor that is related to rage knitting. I was like, all right, dude, you are like, I don't know you personally, but if we ever meet, we're totally going out to dinner. We can have coffee. I don't know if you drink or not, whatever. You're my people. Like, you get it. Like, and I think my issue that I have with maybe Instagram and podcasts and is this idea of perfection, that things need to be a particular way, like because such and such did this, I need to do it exactly the same way because it looks cool or whatever it is. Like it does. It drives me friggin' nuts because life is messy. I'm a messy person. By the end of this, I'll have lipstick all over my face and I don't care if it's not edited out. It's just who I am. Get used to it. I'm here. This is who you get. There's no point in me wanting to be somebody other than who I am. And I do not enjoy watching other people try to be something that they're not. So when you are confronted with someone who is just comfortable with themselves and are able to communicate in a way that grabs you, I gravitate to it immediately. And I think that's what I liked about his podcast is that he's just himself. No apologies needed, number one. And number two, that drives me nuts. Like you never should have to apologize for, I should not have to feel like I need to apologize for my behavior. If you don't like my behavior, I'm sorry, but I just apologized. I was saying I'm sorry, not sorry. I wasn't really apologizing. Let's be real. We can't please everyone. And I don't want to change who I fundamentally am for more views or for more likes or whatever it is. I feel like if you are true to who you are, you'll find your people and your people will find you. It will happen. It may take a long time, but it will happen. So when I come across a podcast where I feel at home, I want to shout it from the rooftops because that means that if you're watching me, you're probably going to like that. And you will notice like my span of like different things that I watch and recommend, it's like a rainbow. Like it's just everything. But there is a common thread of honesty in all of it. And some of it's vegan, some of it's not vegan. But I think the honesty is probably the most important thing, right? Okay, so you guys, I was talking keyboard-wise, texting, whatever, with Shelly from Knittings and Sewings. But she was talking about a sewing project and she brought up fabric. And I was like, I think I bought a very similar fabric from Joann's. And I'm going to laugh really hard if it's the same. So what I'm going to do, and with the speed of editing, we'll get through this, but in that closet back there, and you're going to see this, and I'm going to have Mr. Editor just go speed through the footage because I'm not going to do anything with my camera setting. I have a sewing project tub. And yes, I do have a sewing machine. You will not see me making very much ever. However, I have a project in there that I want to get back to. one of the things Shelley had been talking about in the last was like, are there projects that you set to the side that you want to work on? And this is one that has been sitting in hibernation. And I kid you not, I think it's been 3 to 4 years, if not longer. So I'm going to pull it out and we're going to talk about it. So what I'm going to do is leave the camera running. I'm going to do that. You're going to ignore my big ass in your face getting in that closet. Maybe hopefully we'll see some bunnies running back and forth. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to get the tub out and then I'm going to get the project out and then we'll be back talking. So cheers. All right, I found that much quicker than I thought I would, so that's the good news. Bad news is I do not know how bad this is, so let's see. It's been a long time. I think it's in here. Okay, so maybe I should header this with what the project was originally. I have a lot of old concert t-shirts or old show t-shirts from when I was younger. That are threadbare, falling apart. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do with them because I can't wear them really anymore. But I don't want to get rid of them because they mean something to me. So I decided I was going to do like a tapestry thing, but I had no skills at the time and I didn't really know what I was doing. And now that it's been hibernating for, 4 years, and I have more skills, I know what I want to do. So I'm going to need to unsew a lot, and that's okay. We'll get into it. So here's some of the shirts. So like this is my pig face shirt. This was, crap, I can't even remember where I saw them. It was in New York City. I don't know if anybody who went to Sarah Lawrence with me remembers where this was. Where was it? It was really small, and I know who I went with, but I don't want to call people out on the internet. So anyway, I don't think it was the marquee because I think the marquee was bigger. It was a really small space. Such a good show. And Guar came out at the end. It was phenomenal. Okay, so I have a pig face shirt. What else do I have in here? I've got, look at that. Like I'm ever going to wear a crop shirt that's tight, but whatever. So we got that. Oh, an oldie but a goodie. Jesus and Mary chain. This was a show I saw at Bogart's in Cincinnati. Does it have the dates? Hold on. Oh shit, where'd I put my glasses? Well, it has 1990. And where was this? It was at Bogart's. Oh, it was on March 24th. It was March 24th in Cincinnati. And when the show got out, it started snowing. It was a huge snowstorm. Not that you care about that, but okay. So I'm trying to get to, I'm not going to show you that shirt because that could be fairly triggering. All right, what do we got? I'm trying to get to the actual project that's buried in this tote. I apparently was, ooh, that's blown out. Never mind. Graph paper for something. Do not get in here. Thank you. Oh, okay. Well, I do have part of it. What was this? Okay, so now what I did was I took the shirt, like different shirts from different concerts and different places I've been, and then I backed them with a t-shirt, like with a backer iron thingy, because I don't know anything about sewing. I'm going to call things crazy things, and I don't even know what they are. So don't at me. I already know. You just need to know this was me just doing my own thing. But this is the fabric that reminded me of Shelley's fabric. It's like a batik, I guess. And so I'm framing that out, right? So as you can see, we've got a lot of skinny puppy going on this one. You fold this back up. How is this folded? Oh, whoa. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how I have that folded. We'll come back to that. Oh, Maggie, I need in there. Come on out. Maggie is sitting in the tote. I don't know if I can even get a picture of this. Come on. If I fits, I fits. I need in here though. Come on. Boop. All right, then I have another skinny puppy shirt. This was from, I think, Too Dark Park tour, which I saw in Columbus and New York City. Oh, so here, oh, I have pens and stuff. I'm a safe knitter, apparently. Oh my God. But check this. I love this. Oh, cat, you're hurting me. So here's some more of that fabric. All right. Maggie, whatever you are doing, you need to stop. Because I can tell you right now, it's not good. All right, then we've got more skinny puppy. Do you notice the theme of my favorite band? Skinny Puppy. Marie Laveau's museum in New Orleans. More Skinny Puppy and more New Orleans. Okay, Maggie, you are pushing it. You got to go. Is that it? And then I've got the backing. Okay, now I found the fabric that I was looking for. Hold on. I love it. I just love it. So, okay, so anyway, what I want to do. So, Shelly, this was my project and I was working on a tapestry. I am going to probably undo the first one I showed you with all of the t-shirts on it, and I'm going to redo it because now I know, now I have a vision for what I want versus what I don't want. I don't know that I really had a vision when I started this other than I just wanted to save the t-shirts. So I am going to be working on this periodically. I don't really have a schedule for working on it. Try to see what else I have in here. I think that's it. Whoa. But that is my deep hibernation project of like, if I think about that, it's probably more than 4 years. It's probably a good 7 years since I've picked it up. Which, you know what? Listen, things hibernate for a reason because, you know, they need to stew, right? Like, I think sometimes it's the same thing like when I write poetry. Sometimes something will be in my head for a really long time before I write it down. And I think that there are people who approach things differently. Like some people will carry a journal with them and just have like that constant flow so that they don't forget. I kind of don't do that. I kind of think if it's something stays with me, then I need to get it out. Like if it doesn't stay with me, I've probably worked it out in a different way. So I think sometimes projects, whether it be knitting or sewing or writing or painting or whatever the hobby is, whatever the craft is, sometimes I don't like to say hobby because it makes it sound like it's not, it makes it sound like it's not serious, I guess, or like not, I don't know. I think craft, they're the same thing. It's just a different choice of words. Anyway, I think that hibernation can be really good because it gives you space from whatever you were working on, number one, and maybe you need that so you don't rage slice it apart, i.e., Comfort Fade Cardi. But I think the other thing is, you change and you grow over time. So when you hibernate something and you come back to it, even your attitude towards the project, maybe you don't even want to do it anymore, and that's okay. But maybe you come at it from a different angle and it changes the technique, or it changes the feel of the project. I think this is going to be one of those things for me, because music and shows have always been super important to me. I think being a Gen Xer, music really kind of defined, your social group, and just the way you dress, the way, like, it defined who you were as a person, period. In a way that I don't know that other generations really understand. Music was, and not that music is not important to other generations, it's important to all generations. I just think the relationship to music was different. And I think because it was before cell phones, it was before like the interwebs that Al Gore invented, all of that. It's just a different relationship, and it's a milestone for me, like when I look at things. The other reason why I started thinking about this project, not only because of Shelley's podcast, but Skinny Puppy is touring again. And I was not expecting it. And they're calling it their final tour. And in one way, it's super bittersweet. I did buy tickets. I'm going to the Cincinnati show. It is at the end of April. But it's like the end of an era, and it's closing the door on something that really shaped my life in a dramatic way. For those who aren't familiar with industrial music, sometimes like it can be hard to get into it. So it's not something I recommend to everyone. It's not everyone's jam, but if it is your jam, it's your jam, right? And for me, the first time I saw Skinny Puppy, it was the first time I saw animal rights groups like up close and personal in my face. And it really affected me in a manner that I can't even explain. The first time I heard Skinny Puppy, I hated them. I was super into Depeche Mode, and my best friend, who is still my bestie, I don't even know how she found Skinny. Like, I don't even know the correlation of events, other than she handed me a tape. I was like, what is up with this guy's voice? Blah! Because I was so used to David Gahan and Martin Gore. But something stuck with me. And then it stuck with me to the point that, like, I just can't even explain it. It's kind of like when Steve and I met, we didn't like each other. And, well, I don't know that he didn't like me, but he annoyed the hell out of me. And we were teenagers at the time. It's just funny that the things that you really have a problem with typically are the things that you want the most of, right? So Skinny Puppy was no different. And it was a lifelong love of that band and their music and their journey and their struggles, and just that really spoke to me. So this final tour, it's a little bittersweet, you guys. It just, like, we're all getting older. I can't really it's not like I'm going to jump in the pit on this. So I don't know. It's bittersweet. I'm really excited for it. But anyway, I will report back on this project, and it's kind of like walking down memory lane a little bit, in a good way, right? In a good way. So I hope that, if you have like bands or artists that you can go see them, because you never know what's going to happen. I know Depeche Mode is going to be touring again, but the closest place they are playing to me is Chicago, which is a 6-hour drive. Well, depending on who drives, it could be 4.5 hours or it could be 6. But the tickets for the floor, I don't even want to tell you how much they are, because I about barfed. I was like, what? The first time I saw Depeche Mode, I thought $25 was a steep ticket. They may have been $50. I can't remember. It was a long ass time. It was like 86. I can't even remember. Let's just say they're not like Beyonce level expensive or Taylor Swift level expensive, but they're way too expensive for my budget. And if I'm going to go see Depeche Mode, I do not want to be in nosebleed seats. Like, that is no fun to me, which is probably why I don't like arena shows and why I like small venues. I'd like to be up close and personal. So, yeah. So, anyway, if you have a chance to see Depeche Mode, it's probably their last tour as well. So, go do it. Obviously, Andy Fletcher. If you don't know, Andy Fletcher was a founding member of Depeche Mode. He passed away within the past year, which is, sad. It's sad. But so, yeah. Anyway, why are we ending on this note? We can't end on this note. Sewing projects, knitting projects, bunnies. Oh, we will close this out and I will somehow get to a positive note. But so I don't have a PlayStation. So I have never played The Last of Us. Now, I know that it is coming to the PC. It may already be on PC and I don't know that. I will play it because I love games like that. However, I did finally sit down and watch the first 5 episodes, not all in one night, of The Last of Us on HBO. If you are like me and very sensitive to animal, like 4-legged animal stuff, so far it's been okay. There's a dog in the first episode, but he runs away. And as far as we know, nothing's happened to him. So there really isn't. Now, there's human issues. So like if you have issues with kids and stuff, like trigger friggin' warning, 100%. The next upcoming episode, I'm a little freaked out about because there's horses in it. And I don't know if you guys watch The Walking Dead, but the first episode, that did me in. Like if you know, you know. So anyway, so far so good. You can watch the first 5 episodes. I don't know about episode 6. I'm going to try to watch it and we'll see how I do. But dude, if they kill an animal in that beyond a human animal, I'm going to be like, you've already traumatized us enough. Do you really need to go there? And I think that was my issue with The Walking Dead. And like, I know somehow, I'm sure someone's written a dissertation already about this, what the horse represents in The Walking Dead. You're already stripped down to like bare emotions, and then to take it to that level, for me as a vegan, it was just too, like, I was ugly sobbing. It hurt my soul. And I just don't have that in me right now. I think the world's an ugly place and I don't need that to happen. So here's the deal. I think that episode is out tonight. I am not going to watch it tonight. I'm going to get this video. I'll send this video to Mr. Editor. If you have watched episode 6 and it has animal violence in it, this is going to sound horrible. It's not that I don't care about human violence. I just don't want 4-legged violence. So if there's something in there that I can't see, I need to know. And I feel like there's going to be, because there was a dog too. Just let me know in the comments. Okay, so anyway, which brings me to the other topic, is video games. Have you played The Last of Us? Let me know. Is it worth playing? Like, I love first-person shooters. I also like games that have a moral issue in them where you make choices and they affect things. Like if you've never played Mass Effect, oh my God, the choices that you have to, it's brutal, you guys, but I like that. I do like that. So I have a hair that is poking me in my left eye to the point that I just want to gouge my eye out. What is happening? Okay, let's wrap this shit up. How's the lipstick? Is it bleeding? I can't tell. I don't have my glasses on. I'm feeling pretty good about this lipstick. It did come off of my glass a little bit, but not nearly as much as other like non-color stay lipsticks have. I didn't blot it or anything. I just put the shit on. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it. I'm very sorry that One Ear decided to like, hang on, I'm gonna go get One Ear. We're gonna get him in here so you at least can see a bank or something. Hold the line. I'm gonna try to woo him out with treats, but he is snug as a bug in a rug. Ooh, carrot treats. Well, look, these two.
Hi. There you go. There's a treat for you. Whoop. There's, you got it? Oh, wait. You got it?
What are you doing, buddy? Come here. Come on, camera. Come here.
Would you like a treat? There you go. Yeah. This.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks. Hopefully I'll have a little bit more knitting for you. Hopefully the swelling will go down. Hug somebody. Do a push-up. I don't know. You know, take care of yourself. Because you can't take care of anybody else if you don't take care of yourself first. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. One Ear and I, and Harriet, and Lebo, and Smithers. I don't know where he went. We'll be back. Toodles!